Hi guys, and welcome back to Barrovian Made. In this episode, we're going to be sawing some logs. A little bit different for the channel, but I saw this video of some guy making a really cheap sawmill out of a chainsaw and some 2x4s he bought from the shop. I reckon I could do it cheaper. I did it cheaper. I'll link my video in the description and in the corner of me actually making the saw. But in this video, we're testing the saw. We're going to go through everything we like and we hate about it, changes we can make, and we'll go a little bit over safety as well, but we'll do that at the end of the video. Let's get sawing some logs. So the sawmill's really easy to set up. All you gotta do is take it all apart, take it to the location you want to saw some logs, get the washing line or rope as you should be using, and tie it all on, thread it through all the eye holes and stuff. I grabbed the pallet to bump the height up of the log that I'm going to be putting on there. Also gives me something to screw into to secure the log in place. Whack the chainsaw on there, put a ratchet strap around it because we don't trust our chainsaw staying on there. And then, yeah, we're just going to go ahead, wedge our log in place, screw as many screws in as we can. And I can't stress it enough. It's so much easier if you're properly secure down the log. Even what I did here wasn't really enough because it still was moving a bit. But yeah, it worked. We got through it all. And yeah, time to start her up and get going. As you can see, the feed was pretty good. One thing I should have really made is something to be able to lock the carriage in place, so like the up and down movement, because it was staying perfectly still when I didn't have the drill on there. But when I had the drill on there, because of the vibrations and stuff, it was starting to spin around on its own accord. So I think it would be a good idea to grab something that we could somehow wedge it in place. Maybe like a little screw on the side of it that we can just quickly screw into it. But then again, you don't want to be putting millions and millions of holes in the thing every time you want to set a new height and screw it in. So I'm not quite sure how I'd resolve it. Maybe like a little camshaft where I can just turn a handle and the cam would apply pressure to the side of the walls. But that's a little critique I have of this. But as you can see, we ran out of cut capacity there, so I just had to come through with a saw and then just snap the rest off by hand. And yeah, these slabs aren't too bad. I was told that this is ash, by the way. Uh, I'm not 100% sure. I don't really know that many species or how to tell anything. I can only really tell different kinds of oak. So if you can decipher what this log is, please tell me in the comments. I've been told it's ash and it's a hardwood. So that would be really good to make tables and stuff. But as you can see here, started having some issues with the saw, and didn't know what was up with it. I thought I had just broke it because I'm like, oh god, there's nothing to be used like this. But yeah,
I know what's wrong with it. Ain't got no gas in it.
so it turns out a saw needs petrol to run. So I quickly whipped up a mixture of petrol and oil, put it back in the tank, and it started up straight away. So crisis avoided. My blood pressure went back down, and we carried on sawing some more logs. And you can't really tell too much because the footage is sped up. The carriage does wibble wobble a little bit side to side, but the cuts are perfectly straight. So I'm not quite sure why it's not transferring over to the log. Maybe because the actual saw has a little bit of play in it. It can sort of correct itself and keep itself level and straight in the cut. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm getting nice straight flat slabs out of this, so I'm not going to argue with it. And you might notice as well, this saw is cutting the opposite way you'd usually use the chainsaw. I just put it this way because I think it'd be better for kickback if it's kicking like away from me instead of trying to feed into it and throwing things towards me. If it's going to throw anything, it's going to throw it the opposite way to where I'm standing. And also, it was just easier to set everything up this way and have the trigger right there for me instead of trying to mount it on the other way around. But yeah, we ran out of cut capacity here, and this is what I'm on about with the kickback. It just threw the log away from me instead of throwing the log at me. So I should have really secured it down a bit better. So I really do stress you do this because I didn't get a perfect cut after that. But After we cut all the slabs up, I'm just going to get some water, clean all the slabs off, because they're going to have a load of little tiny bits of dust trapped everywhere. And those bits of dust can cause mold, ruining your whole slab while it's drying. So quickly washed everything off before I went to go and stack it all up ready for drying. And yeah, it feels really counterintuitive to make something wet that you're trying to dry, but this is what you do. Right, that's the end of the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Just to go over some safety stuff in the video, I wasn't wearing any PPE. Don't be me. Don't be stupid. Chainsaw accidents are brutal. So make sure you've got your chaps on, you've got your helmet on, steel toe caps, uh, gloves, the lot. I know we're not actually operating the chainsaw, and with the way my chainsaw sawmill is made up, it'd have to cut through all of the actual chainsaw before it can get to me. Or if it did kick back, it'd kick back the opposite way. So I felt confident using the chainsaw, but honestly, it's not worth the risk. So don't be me, don't be stupid, wear your PPE. I should have really even put my safety glasses on because the wind kept blowing all the chips in my face, and although I didn't get anything in my eye, it was just very annoying having to do my safety squints. It's not good, but yeah, safety wise, it's really really important. And talking about safety as well, I ended up taking out the threaded inserts. I just felt like it wasn't going to be strong enough, so I ended up just getting some. Let me see if I can grab them. Get out! I ended up just using some big screws, putting it in. I felt like it had a little bit more holding power than some inserts, but yeah, that's the only thing I changed with it. A few more changes I'd like to make. I wouldn't mind a bigger bar on my chainsaw, so I can have a bit more cut capacity. Because as you can see with that ash log that I cut, we ran out of cut capacity towards the end. I managed to get the rest with a saw and just snap the rest off. But ideally, I'd like to be able to just cut straight through. But I don't think I'd be sawing that bigger logs anyway. Another change I'd like to make is I'd like to make the rail a lot longer, maybe a bit stronger. It didn't show any signs of weakness, but I don't know. I feel like I could do it being beefed up a bit since it's only made from bits of pallet wood and stuff. But so far, those are all the changes I can think of making. Oh, a change I'd like to make. I want to get some actual rope and not use washing line because, well, the washing line was a pain. I had to constantly keep tying it on. I know I didn't. It doesn't show it in the clips, but it broke off a few times, which was annoying. But ropes are expensive, a lot more expensive than I thought. I went into B&Q today to just before I started setting everything up to buy some actual proper rope, and I think it was like 14 quid. So I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna steal my mum's washing line, and I'm sure that's gonna be strong enough. And it was strong enough, but it just kept on doing itself, and it was a right headache. But off the top of my head, those are the only changes. If I think of any more changes while I'm editing the video, I'll chuck them in the video as well. But yeah, let me know how you like this style of video as well, this sort of editing. Been having some issues with a microphone not being loud enough, which is why I'm holding it to my mouth instead of having it down here because a lot of people complained that the audio wasn't loud enough. So I'm holding it to my mouth and I'm doing a voiceover in this video. Uh, Let me know how you feel about that because my style of content is usually just me talking while building the projects and explaining what I'm doing as I'm going rather than just recording everything and then doing a voiceover over. So let me know how this style of video goes down or if it goes down well with you lot. Uh, if you're going to make this chainsaw, be safe about it. And any injuries and stuff, I am not responsible for. See you in the next one, guys.